So our final segment today, we want to talk about what trusted advisors should every professional have in their Rolodex. And James, I know that you are constantly out in the community. You're heavily involved with SHRM as a leader there now in Detroit. So, but what are your thoughts on those trusted advisors that need to be in the Rolodex?
Yeah, there's definitely a need for a range of trusted advisors depending on what part of life you're in or part of your business you're in. But what I'm seeing as a common theme is you always need to have your go-to person for accounting issues, always for legal issues, always need to have insurance,
right?
And you always need to have someone that can help you attract the right talent. And I think at a minimum, you would need to have that team core of 4, but I think that there are dozens of other professionals and trusted advisors that you would need depending on where you're at in life. And I think typically one of those 4 could refer you to the other appropriate advisor that you would need. But I'm open to your interpretation on what common advisors you see in most transactions you experience.
Yeah, I mean, it varies. So certainly agree with the 4 you already mentioned. And then, it's certainly like somebody that can really discuss insurance, both on the liability side and also related to healthcare issues. But, like one example, I mean, then there's specialists within each, like you said. I think that's what you were getting at, right. Is, for example, we had a discussion recently with some other business owners who were talking about, should I have cyber insurance? And so that's a multi-layered question. I mean, it's like, to what extent, and then what type of insurance, what are the maximum payments, and what does it cover? So, I mean, I think that one would probably maybe take a couple of different advisors to cover that issue. What are your thoughts?
Agreed that sometimes all those advisors are under one shingle.
Right.
Like here we have, 60 different practice areas, but other times you need to bring in that specialist. And, when you talk about all 4 of the core, you also need to have, almost in every transaction, a banker. You need to have a lender to get the money. And I think that there's great efficiency and the easy button by having the trusted advisors that know each other or that can communicate well with each other, because then that's the easy button for the client, where we could communicate with each other and not take away the client's resources and let them focus on what they do best.
Yeah, so that brought me to another topic, and it's kind of related, but like there's a lot of business owners right now that are wondering, should I apply for the PPP, the second phase of the PPP? And I believe there's a question in the, in the statement, or, when you have to provide, when you're submitting a request, that as an attestation of need or something along those lines. So to respond to that question, there's probably a couple of experts that they should collaborate with to figure out, how do you quantify that statement of need? And there's ethical considerations, and there's ethical and financial and legal probably in that.
All of those could apply. From a legal standpoint, we have a whole team that identifies who qualifies. Like if you're over 500 employees, you don't qualify. Do you have that 20% reduction in a quarter of business? Things of that nature. From the legal standpoint, we can identify, but then you may want that accountant to identify the financial numbers that support the legal argument. And I agree that there's a number of ways, or you talk to your banker who will be approving the loan and what you need for that application. So to have all of those trusted advisors in communication would be the easy button for a client.
Yeah, but back to your initial point though, I think if you have those core several advisors, and then there is a more niche question that you need answered, those 4 can probably, within their networks, are going to be able to send you to somebody else. And so I think that's the important thing here, is just having those really tight connections and people you trust, so that when they refer you, it's a trusted connection that's one level away from maybe somebody at a deep level.
Agreed. And you have someone else also spotting the issues, so you don't have to make sure you are thinking of everything.
Yep. Great. Well, thank you.
Thank you for having me. Look forward to doing it again.